Welcome to the NAMB Podcast, where we bring you the voices that drive the mortgage industry. Join dynamic hosts Ginger Bell and Matt Shields as they dive into bold conversations with top experts, industry leaders, and change makers from across the country. From insider insights to game-changing trends, this is your front row seat to what's happening right now in the world of home finance.
Well, hi there. Welcome to another episode of the NAMB Podcast. My name is Ginger Bell, and my co-host, Matt Shields, is here with me today. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Ginger, I'm doing fantastic. I'm so excited for our guest today, and I think our listeners are going to love what he has to say.
Absolutely. And, you know, this is a conversation that is near and dear to both of our hearts because we believe so much in education and videos and branding and all those things. So let's welcome a very dear friend to NAMB, and that is Pouria Moalemian with MLO Branding Academy. Now, did I get your last name right?
You got it, Ginger.
I did. Okay, good.
Nice.
That was a mission. Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining us. And, you know, our audience is always interested in how to be better in their business, you know, how to build their brand, how to do those things. And sometimes it's hard to do that because you're busy originating, right? And so having that balance, I think, is very important. And then also having an idea as far as the right things to do. And so one of the things, and I'm going to get into some of the different things that you offer, but I do want to start off is I think it's a great question. And you and I had a discussion about this when we first started talking about education and branding. And that is for originators, and especially, you know, those that are focused on the purchase business, you know, what are some of the things that they can do to be able to break free of that realtor referral dependency that a lot of people rely on? And not just that, but I think because, you know, Matt heads up our young professional division for NAMB, and a lot of new originators don't necessarily have those relationships with realtors. So, you know, what are some of the things that they can do to be able to break free of that dependency?
100%. Great question. So first of all, I'm super excited for whoever's watching this podcast or listening to it, because this is the right timing to get this vital information to take your business to the next level. Why is that? Because according to NAR, over 72% of real estate agents in 2025 had only zero transaction. Yes, only zero transaction in entire 2025. So what does that tell you? It means the entire marketing in the mortgage industry is shifting from relying on real estate agent to be in the front of the line and advertising and promoting yourself and building your brand and creating the connection that you want. So this is according to NAR, and that's a hot number just came out of NAR. Yeah.
That's huge. So what you're saying is over 70% of real estate agents have had no transactions in the last 12 months.
Exactly.
No business. So
Zero.
if you're thinking about you're going to be relying on realtors and you're calling on realtors and you're doing all of that, it's like, you know, that 25%, that's very small.
That's very small. And here's the next stat. The top 15% after the 70%, they only had 4 to 9 transactions in entire 2025. Okay? And the top 1 to top 5% had good amount of transaction to send business back to loan officers. So the question that you want to ask yourself is that, who do I want to attract? What type of real estate agent? The ones that are struggling, have no business, or the one that has business? And the next more important question is that, if I want to attract the highest level of producing real estate agent, what is it that these people are looking for? Are they looking for more coffee meetings? Are they looking for more reminders? Or they're looking for a growth partner, somebody who can send them more business and help them grow faster and elevate their brand? So that's a question that you should ask yourself. And that's the biggest shift that mortgage loan officers are going to make in 2025. Let me know if you guys are feeling the exact same thing. Matt, I know you're doing mortgages.
Absolutely, and we're definitely seeing that. You're seeing a certain group of agents really excelling, definitely excelling, really controlling the market. And then you see some who are, saying, "Hey, I haven't closed a loan in 12 months. I haven't closed on a home in 12 months." So it's crazy to hear that stat confirming it, because you see stuff over the years of maybe 30 or 40% didn't close, on a property, but 72, that's a shift, like you
That's
said.
insane. That's a shift.
That's a major shift.
So one of the things that you said that I loved was, obviously you still have to have those relationships with realtors, but having the mindset of going in as a growth partner. And I think that's a shift in itself. So, and I want to really drill in on, excuse me, our newer loan officers, because, I think that's, you're getting started. How can you go in and say, I'm going to help you be I'm going to be your growth partner. I'm going to help you grow your business, without having a plan on how to do that. So what is something, let's unpack that a little bit. What does that look like?
100%. So at this point, so we know we want to walk into the relationship with value. There is a favorite book I'm reading. It calls Who Not How. It's all talking about, like, you always want to start a relationship with value. You want to come in, and instead of asking for business, bringing, how can I help you? How can I grow your business? So with that being said, we know we want to enter the relationship with bringing business to the table to help them to grow their business. But the next question is, how do I bring business to the table in today's market with high interest rate, crazy home prices, inflation, market uncertainty? So how do I do this? So this is the next important nugget that I want to drop for everyone that listening to this call. According to NAR, 67% of home buyers prefer attending a workshop or a webinar before making a purchase decision. So what does that tell you? That's game changing. So people are looking for education.
Right.
Why is that? Because of interest rate, because of uncertainty, because they don't trust some politicians. They don't know what's going to happen in future. And that's why it's difficult to make a decision. And that's why they are looking for a webinar. So now we have two factors here: market demand, what is it that market's looking for? And second is that what is the real estate agent, which is one of our best potential referral partners, are looking for. So now I think the next step is obvious, and it's self-explanatory that what we should do.
Yeah. And having those workshops, whether they're live or whether they're virtual, you have the ability to do that, right? Matt, I know you were you did some events this last week, actually, with realtors. And so what are some of the things that you were seeing with the events you were doing?
They're looking for the education too. And kind of piggybacking off those stats, you're seeing in my market too, is a lot of teams. So the big team lead, doing a lot of listings, doing some higher end purchases, but then building that sales force of next generation of realtors. So a big niche for me is helping educate those realtors who they're kind of bringing up the ranks. And we had this yesterday, and there were 6 realtor partners who were here with us, and it was a crash course into pre-approvals. Like, what does this look like? Some tips for them to sound intelligent to their buyers. They don't need to know everything, but enough to kick back to us. And then really going a lot over database, like grow your database, own your database. Your hairstylist, your tattoo artist, your favorite restaurant, those are people for your database. They kind of seeing their wheels turning after that. But I'm seeing a lot of realtor partners really needing that help and wanting that help.
100%. I love what you're doing, Matt. You're educating real estate agents, right? Starting and strengthen the relationship with education, but by bringing value to the table. And how does that position you in front of that real estate agent? How do they look at you once you do these workshops?
They look at me like a partner. And now I'm talking to them about marketing. How are we going to market your open house? How are we going to reach out to your closed database of clients? So everything you're saying it's so spot on for this market right now. They want help, a partner, an education, and someone who cares about their business.
That's a period.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
So let me ask you, as far as because the live events, and that's what Matt's talking about. And I love the education, especially you have your team leads for your realtors. They're building, their teams up. And you never know from those teams who's going to be successful, right? Some are going to come out of the gate, some aren't. And so by casting the net a little wider and kind of providing that education, and some of the follow-up things, because you did that live event, but Pouria, what are some of the follow-up things that Matt could bring into his business, like in a webinar, even an automated webinar or something like that would be good follow-up to kind of make that a little bit stickier?
100%. Are you referring by follow-up after what's happening after Matt's meeting with real estate agent, or other type of way that we can utilize the workshop strategy?
I think both, really, because I'm very open to hearing about what you think for webinar strategy for home buyers, because that's something I've really been wanting to put that together. And because I've tried to do in-person seminars for home buyers, and that never got the traction I wanted. So I would love to switch into the webinar space, open to any and every suggestion that you think would make that work.
100%. So the thing is, we've seen very successful results with both in-person and online workshops, which is webinar. And the reason is, like, when you do good advertising, when you attract the right audience, they actually travel and show up in person in front of you. And when you get to shake other people's hand, it just creates some next level of relationship. However, both works, both online and in-person works. And when it comes to online webinars, we've seen we're doing this across all 52 states, across the entire nation. And webinars are working because people are looking forward to it. And we do it in different topics. Like we do it in DSCR, non-QM, first-time home buyers. We do it for veterans, reverse mortgages, construction loans, jumbo luxury loans. So any one of them that you're interested, as long as you have a right attracting and advertising process, you can attract your right audience into your webinar and workshop. So something crazy that we've seen as an insight I want to share with audience here that listening to us is that have you guys, Matt, Ginger, you guys been in business for a long time. Have you guys done online advertising before?
Yep, do a lot of
Like, have you guys seen that the leads quality that coming in is not as good? People are cold, like the show up rate is low on the calls. Have you guys seen the same pattern? Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same exact pattern across, because when I was working before, I was working in a giant lender. Like we've been spending over $5-6 million a month on online advertising. And I just want to share a little bit of backstory, Ginger, before I answer your question. So we've been doing $5-6 million a month myself, just overseeing on online advertising to feed thousands of loan officers every single day with quality leads. And one day, my own mother, which is a loan officer, was struggling to get business. I was like, give me a second, let me help you to grow your business. I launched a few campaigns that was working for the corporation that I was working for as a top manager. And I tried a few things, and everything I tried, it pretty much failed. I generated a lot of leads, but all low quality, low intent leads. I said, give me one more chance, and I'm going to make this work for you. Because my mom was in a position that she was crying. She was like, Pouria, I'm not sure even if I have the rent for next month, because I'm about to quit the industry. I'm tired of chasing. And she was very vulnerable. And that day really impacted me. I was like, okay, give me a second. I'm already doing great on corporate side. Let me find this out for you. So what I did is I went to corporate system, and we've had over hundreds of lead sources for the entire corporation. I'm talking about New American Funding. Have you guys heard about New American Funding? It's one of the like top 10 nation lenders. And I was like, okay, so I need to crack the code for individual loan officer because it's about my own mother and I want to serve this industry. So let's figure out what is it that's making a difference. So this is crazy. Let me make sure I turn off my Bluetooth. Okay, so this was crazy. So when I open the dashboard and look at all the lead sources and the quality of the leads that they were sending us, I could see all the numbers, like what lead source, how many leads, how many of them pick up the phone, how many of the people that pick up the phone lead to application, how many funded loans. So I had the full insight. I said, okay, so let's go ahead and sort the entire data based on the top 10 lead sources that send us the highest quality lead in the industry. I'm talking about like it was all the lead sources that you could even imagine in the market. So I found the top 10. I was like, okay, so what is it common between these top 10 that separate themselves out of 100 plus other lead sources? I looked at it. I took a second. I took my time, an hour, 2 hours, starting analyzing the data. And I figured out something very interesting. I found out the secret sauce. The secret sauce for these 10 lead sources was I can't exactly tell you what they did because of signed NDA and attorneys are expensive. So I can't tell you that. However, I'm going to tell you the psychology behind it. The psychology was that it was positioning New American Funding like next to the highest authority lenders in the nation and position the entire company as authority before people jump on a call with loan officers. So that was the psychology of those top 10 lead gen. So I was like, what can I do? How can I do the same thing for individual loan officers? And I was like, okay, so the only way that loan officers can create authority before actually jump on a call pretty much is to provide value and serve and educate people. And that was the moment that, boom, it changed everything for myself, for my family, my mom, my wife, all my clients, because I figured out something that when you educate people ahead of the time with webinars and workshops, you build so much authority before they even jump on a call with you. And when I realized this, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Because, guys, for people who listen to this, I want you to write this down on a piece of paper. Salespeople pitch, authority teach. That is how you separate yourself from rest of loan officers. And that is why I ask you, Matt, I ask you, Ginger, have you guys like tried any online leads before? You say, yeah, it's low quality, they don't pick up the phone. Guess what is the show up rate after people book a call with our clients, with us after our webinar? When they attend the webinar, they book a call. Guess what's the show up rate on those calls?
I'm going to guess, I'm just throwing a stab at it here in the dark, 90%. Because I feel like it's going to be really good. Because you know your stuff. I'm going to go like 85, 90%. I don't know.
Ginger, what's your guess?
I mean, I don't know. I would say 72%.
72%? It's 90% in average.
Okay, that's right. Ding, 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 ding.
Matt, you got it. Makes sense. He's been in business.
And that's because of the education factor, because
Yeah,
you've taken the time, you've educated them, you've built that relationship. And even though it's online, it's still, providing that education. And not a lot of people are doing that, right?
That's it. Exactly. When you educate, you position yourself as authority. You show up with value, you serve people first, you share some love, you empower people, and people look at you differently and they respect your time. and they
Yeah.
don't ghost you and they work with you.
Well, and they're looking, and there's a lot of different ways that you can deliver that education too. So I think it's a matter of finding, what that is and what that looks like. Whether it's on webinars, whether it's on a YouTube channel, whether it's on, your social media, whether it's doing your email. I mean, whatever that is, to be able to do that. But a lot of it has to do with branding too, and we're going to have you come back on, because we're already, he's like, we could go on for an hour for
This
sure.
is great info.
Yeah. But I want to, for somebody that's listening to this, that's getting started, and they're going to say, okay, I haven't done anything for education. Where should I get started? That's quickly that I'm going to have some results. And what do you recommend for that?
Yeah, that's a good question, Ginger. So the easiest way to start this, the least complicated webinar, is the first time homebuyer webinar. Most loan officers are good at education because they've done this hundreds of times one-on-one over phone. So all you have to do right now is one-to-many. Do this in front of 10, 20, 30 people. But the next question is, how do I get 10, 20, 30 people in front of me? So there are endless different ways that you can utilize this. One of the best, the one that we definitely recommend and we do for our client, is that we utilize advertising, social media advertising, to constantly filling up our loan officers room with 20, 30, 40 people. If you have minimum 2-3 funded loans, tomorrow you shouldn't start webinars tomorrow. You gotta start it today. Okay. If you don't have minimum 2-3 funded loans, I have clients that gets creative and they fill up their workshop using churches, communities, Facebook groups, their email list, their referral partners email list. I have people, they're doing workshops for 2 years using their real estate agents database. So there are endless different ways to fill up a workshop because people are looking forward education. Did that answer your question, Ginger?
Yeah, and I think that's it. It's like, so when they start this, and again, I'm looking at our newer loan officers that are getting started. Do they record like a Zoom meeting and then put it on to something that's just a live thing and promote it out that way? Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah. So usually the best way to start this is to minimum doing 10 to 20 live webinar. So what does live mean? It means you show up like the way we're showing up right now, because live bringing different type of energy inside the call, and you're learning how to do the presentation, connect with audience. And once you do minimum 10 to 20, that you understand the process, you get good at it, then you can record the webinar and put it on different evergreen webinar tools that they come across as a live webinar, but you're not showing up live. But you have to start it live to get good at it first before you go pre-recorded.
Yeah. And I love that, do it, get good at it, practice it. And the nice thing is about doing the webinars, even if you have just a couple people there, it's not like having a live event where you had to go and pay for something, only a couple people show up, and then you're like, so sorry. And it gives you that chance to practice, which is phenomenal to do that. And, Matt, I think it's a good thing to tie in, especially for those who are new in the industry, because it gives them that opportunity to practice and to do it, in a safe environment as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This was fantastic information. This is, I think, what everyone needs to hear right now. Someone's trying to grow their business. This is exactly what they need to hear.
Yeah, 100%. So for those who are listening or watching our podcast on video, how do they get a hold of you to be able to find out some more information?
Great question, Ginger. So the number one way is through NAMB, because NAMB is one of our strategic partners that inside our email list, a lot of people sign up our workshops from NAMB email list. And the second way is to search our website name, MLObrandingacademy.com. And within that process, they can schedule a call with us. Or one of the best ways is to actually sign up for our 3 days event, because usually every month we have 3 days event that we educate people for free inside our industry. And we're practicing what we're preaching ourselves. Educate first, be at the front, serve people, empower, and then business comes to you naturally. So is there any way, Ginger, to add a link to this podcast?
Yes, absolutely. We always add a link, so we'll add a link for that as well. And for those of you who are listening, you can always go to NAMB, so NAMB.org, and click on our partners page. And from there, then you'll be able to find the link that goes directly to your MLO Branding Academy. And so thank you so much for joining us. We love this information. Love to have you back. I'm sure Matt will have you on his young professionals as well, because our goal is to always be able to provide the same kind of thing, the education to be able to help loan originators be able to grow and build their business, because that's what it's all about, right?
Definitely, 100%.
I love it. Well, thanks for joining us. For those of you who are tuning in, make sure and like and follow and subscribe and share this with someone, because I tell you what, this is valuable information. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Pouria.
Of course. Thanks, Ginger. Great talking to you, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the NAMB Podcast, brought to you by the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. For more episodes, resources, and guest interviews, visit NAMBpodcast.com. Don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you soon.